Welcome back to Design to Thrive, where innovation meets inspiration. Today's guest is Mark Durante, founder of Rize Up Medical, a cutting-edge biologics company revolutionizing regenerative medicine. From PRP to exosomes and cellular stem cells, Mark's helping people heal naturally, inspired by his own journey through a life-saving heart transplant. We dive into the future of healing, AI in medicine, and what it really means to thrive. Let's get into it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Design to Thrive. We have Mark on the podcast. Mark's from Rize Up Medical. Hey, Mark, how are you doing?
Oh, fantastic, Knock. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. So tell us, what do you do?
Yeah, so we're basically a biologics company that's focused around regenerative medicine and helping to help heal people naturally through things that are very similar to stem cell and stem cell derivative type products. You know, a lot of people in this industry may have heard of things like PRP that we've used for the last 10, 15 years in order to take like the best of the body, concentrate it, re-inject it into specific wounds or injuries, and then allow the body to repair itself naturally. So what we've done is our company's focused on continuously innovating in this field, where PRP now is kind of the bottom of the barrel. And now we're getting into more advanced therapies where we're doing, platelet-rich fibrin, which is just another element of it. Then we're getting into exosomes and acellular stem cells. At the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is innovate in a space that will give people the opportunity to naturally create healing rather than have to go through the pharmaceutical industry.
Awesome. Sounds good to me. Stem cell. That was a new industry, but how is it going today?
You know what? It is, I think it's going amazing, if it's from my own personal level, but it's not without its challenges because, this is still a very heavily regulated field. There's still a lot of work to be done in this field. And as a result of it, sometimes it can move a little slower than we want to. But at the end of the day, it is, I think we're seeing a lot of adoption from a consumer level, which is leading to more adoption at the medical level, which is kind of creating this revolution in biologics. And that is a good thing.
Definitely sounds good to me. So what inspired the launch of Rize Up Medical, Mark?
Actually, it was stemmed out of my own personal health crisis. So it is 8.5 years ago, I had a heart transplant from an unknown cause of heart failure. And I only discovered it because of some of the neuropathy that I had developed that nobody could explain. So after my heart transplant, many of us thought that the neuropathy was a result of the heart issue. So after having a heart transplant, they figured the neuropathy would go away. But by that time, I was probably 9 years into dealing with the nerve issues. So there was a lot of elements that may have died off. And I actually started to get worse. And so it was at that point that I was speaking with an orthopedic surgeon who'd been in stem cell research and kind of started to give me some exposure to this new marketplace. Wasn't new to him, but it was new to the world. And I was already in medicine. So what was unique about it is that here I'm thinking after 18 years being in medicine, I should know about these therapies, and I didn't. So when I started to reverse my own issues, I decided to make it my passion in order to create education, exposure, and help create the advancement in the biologic space so that people didn't have to suffer like I did. I know there's a solution, and we just need to be able to get to enough people. So that's why it's great when you're on a podcast like yours where you can get to people that are, they get to hear this story and get to share with your friends. What is it? What do they say? You're 7 people away from knowing everybody in the world. So if that's the case, then we're off to the right start. We'll call it 1.
Awesome. What part of your day-to-day work lights you up the most?
Oh, it's watching people heal. And to do it naturally. Here's the thing. I'm not an anti-surgery. I'm not an anti-pharmaceutical type of conversationalist. I just believe that there's certain therapies that we may be able to do first that could help avoid surgeries, that could make major alterations when it's not necessary. I couldn't have had a heart transplant if I didn't have a great surgeon. I wouldn't have been able to manage my life if I didn't have certain pharmaceuticals during the neuropathy and then all the way up to post-transplant that help keep my immune system suppressed so that my heart doesn't, my body doesn't attack my heart. So, in this realm here, I just wanted to kind of use my own experience in order to change the lives of others that may be experiencing the same thing.
Definitely. Well, that's empowering to hear. going through a situation like that, like heart transplant. Well, let me ask you this: who do you think you got the heart from? Like, what kind of character or avatar?
You know what? I don't know, but all I can say is he was a pretty cool guy. it, we never get to, I tried to reach out to the family so that I could tell them what a gift it was that I know that he was I know that it was a he. And an interesting fact is a heart transplant doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get male to male and female to female. During
Right,
my
right.
journey, I actually met a male that got a female's heart because it's a lot around body size. The so in that regards, I wish I knew. Honestly, it is. I reached out a couple of times, but they say sometimes the heart is a very emotional thing for a parent after they've lost a life. So they just told me to, now at this point, if I can't meet the family, I can at least make the difference because of the life their family gave me.
Beautiful. So about Rize Up Medical, what's your role and what do you focus on most?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, you know what? I mean, I'm the founder of the company because again, this is born out of a passion project from my own health related issue. However, I came out of aesthetic medical, launching a lot of laser technologies that were involved in anti-aging that many people know today if they go to a med spa or they're just trying to do more age prevention and reversal of sun damage and wrinkles and sexual health and hair restoration. So I've dealt in all those aspects of my life. So I was originally, after the heart transplant, trying to move more in the medicinal route. But then all of a sudden, aesthetics, which is a cash oriented environment, it started to gravitate towards what we call regenerative aesthetics, where it was using biologics to try and advance different aesthetic applications like sexual health, hair restoration, and skin rejuvenation. But then they wanted to start getting into the prevention model, and they wanted to get into well-being and longevity. And so this arena has just kind of flooded with opportunities. So now I find myself kind of a wide range. So I play a very significant part in the three aspects of aesthetics that I just talked about. But then we also work with a lot of orthopedics, pain management, regenerative medicine physicians, dealing in all areas from cardiac to autoimmune to neurological issues to pulmonary, which is lung, to urology, aesthetic, viral, orthopedics. So there's a lot of categories that it goes into. So I would say that right now, even though we are very specialized, the
Mhm.
amount of people that can get involved or the specialties that can get involved are quite broad.
Awesome. Now you work with a whole slew of clientele in different sectors and industries. What trends in your industry are you paying close attention to?
As a matter of fact, that's a good question. One of them right now is hair restoration. So there's a lot of opportunities in order to do hair restoration. It in a more natural fashion where we didn't have these options before. And it's also becoming in the aesthetic space, it's becoming one of the largest trends that's going to take place over the years to come. And I think a lot of it came about after COVID because a lot of, hair restoration was more of a male dominated field. But after COVID hit, there started to be what's called stress induced hair loss, and women started to suffer from that the most. So all of a sudden, it changed a category where now we were not just helping men, but we were starting to help women. The other thing too is that inside the aesthetic space, there's a lot of synthetic products that are being used in order to help drive results. So right now, what we know is we can take biologics, which can naturally help in the reversal of the aging process or stall it out. And so we're doing things like creating new biological fillers that can give volume for people that they're looking for from a traditional filler, but can also start to do a regeneration process to give them longer term results. But then when it comes to some of the other areas, I'm getting a lot of drive happening in my arena around neurological related issues and orthopedic related issues. And never did I think that that would be the case. But considering that I dealt with my own neurological issue, I think there's a natural relationship with the patient, and the group of people that are asking these questions that it just naturally has me drive into wanting to support them. But honestly, I will cross all areas because at the end of the day, the passion is about healing and that's everybody.
That's right. Uh, Now, with your partners, your partner clinics, or your partnerships, what recurring pain points do you see across the board?
Adoption is probably one of them. It's when I say that, it's how do they adopt these regenerative therapies in a traditional medical space? How does someone who's been collecting insurance convert to more of a cash-based procedure? How does a cash-based med spa get involved in more medicinal related issues without crossing boundaries? And then at that part, I think that in the medical base, in the medical space, you're always going to deal with the general entrepreneurial issues, right? You're going to be dealing with marketing related issues. You're going to be dealing with system related issues. You're going to be dealing with personnel related issues. So there's a lot of elements that I think we're in a time today, particularly where artificial intelligence is playing a part, that we're going to be able to solve a lot of that and allow, in my opinion, and it is just my opinion, I think we're going to get back to a people to people business where AI will kind of take care of more of the mundane everyday tasks that we're always doing behind the screen. And then we'll start getting back into the relationship of things where we're going to do more face-to-face meetings and have a more personal time. So I'm excited about that because I'm a person-to-person, type of consultant. And so I'd rather be in front of people than I would be behind a screen. So it really helps me for sure.
Definitely. Any thoughts on how AI might fit into your company's big picture?
It's already fitting into my big picture. I've started dealing in AI years ago, and I continue to try and make that constant progress towards AI development from, that's not necessarily AI, but AI plays a part in it, but is dealing with automations, trying to automate your traditional tasks that you have in an everyday field. But the other thing too is giving people access to information at a rapid rate in in a way that mankind's never seen. So, for me, things that I would have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on, I now can get AI to do. And things where I didn't have the ability to help as much because I didn't have access to information, I now have a more readily database. I have a more ready database accessible at my fingertips that I can do more to help people. Even in a conversation like this, if you ask me something I didn't know, I could literally go to AI right now and be typing that in so that I get a better understanding so I can hold a more competent conversation with the people that I'm working with. So I think AI is going to play a big part. I think also the things that don't make us passionate in our daily work, I think AI is going to be able to take that over, and it's going to leave us to be able to then find what our passion is and then go full force there. I think it's going to have a great impact on humanity for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Definitely correct. We're moving at such a fast pace in life that now AI is here to make it faster.
It is. And I think, too, a lot of people think that AI is going to replace them. And I think that's a misnomer because as a result of bringing AI into my company, I'm actually having to hire more people to manage just the relational aspects because now we can get to doing things faster and more efficient than we ever could before. So now we need more people to do that. Now, I know that there's going to be AGI and all these other elements that are coming out that are going to play a role, but I think at the end of the day, my focus on this is I don't want a robotic world. I want a relationship world. And I just think we're going to use AI in order to allow for more relational time.
Now, you just mentioned about hiring more people to take on more responsibilities in AI. Are there any parts of the business you'd love to automate?
Yeah, everything. I'm sure you want me to expand on that, but it is the reality is that if I were to look at myself, I'm more of a creative, right? So I can come up with ideas in a flash. The key is implementation, right? So what automation does is allow me to take my creative ideas that I think can impact humanity now and move them faster through the chain because I don't have to hire, train, and do a lot of extra work, and then also dealing with attrition in and out of your business where automation could take care of a lot of those mundane tasks. What I really at that point want to look for is somebody who's highly qualified in order to manage the personal relationship. It is. So when you ask me what I'd automate almost anything that doesn't require or desire a relational connection.
Okay. Now, with Rize Up Medical, what are the biggest goals in your radar over the next 1 to 2 years?
You know, it's doing an amazing job with what we have and then continuing to innovate the field. The thing too is, just like AI, medicine is innovating at a very fast pace. So what I may work with today might be totally different 2 months from now. But in the same fashion, is that's where we want to be. I mean, I think um, artificial intelligence is giving us a competitive advantage for sure. And as a result of the automation process, again, it's allowing me to go back to the innovation side of things and continue to drive new therapies. Because, here's the other part. In the next 1 to 2 years, it's all about scale, right? How do I scale efficiently and do it in an economical fashion? And how can a small business person do it as well as a large corporation? And so I
Hmm.
think where AI and automation is going to come in is going to play a role into the scale.
Awesome. Are there any active projects right now where AI might be a good fit for you?
Oh, yeah, I'm incorporating them everywhere. It is, I mean, from chatbot development so that people have access to, whether it's in a sales process and these clients are, wanting to understand more about our products. Well, I can only write so much in an email. And frankly, if you're reading that email, you probably don't have enough time to read everything that you want to. But what if you could communicate with a chatbot that could basically answer your questions on the spot so that you get the information you want rather than the information you think I want you to have? So, and everybody that I talk to has a different element that they're interested in. So I think the chatbot development plays a big part. I think also the automation process. Once you get off of a telephone call, how do you get speed to driving information to people so that they can make decisions more quickly, rather than somebody like me can get caught on the telephone all day long. It could sometimes take me 1 to 2 days before I can physically sit down with enough time to send you the email that I wanted to send you the minute we finished. So what if I could literally give you access instantly when I got off the telephone call? It is to where you can be 90% sure, and then our conversations are evolved around um, how to implement. And then the other part too is we want to use AI automation to help in the implementation stage. Now that we've helped them implement, now how do they implement it into their practice? We can also have this artificial intelligence flow through to the practitioner side to help them as well. Now everybody's moving at the speed of light, and then the innovation game just kicks in. The more people that have knowledge, the more people that invest in products, the lower the price point comes down, and the better we are in terms of serving all of mankind rather than just a small subset.
Okay. Now I have one last question for you. If you could fix one thing instantly with AI and Rize Up Medical, no budget or tech limits, what would it be?
That's a deep question.
Let me ask that again. Uh,
Yes.
if you could fix one thing instantly, no budget or tech limits with AI and Rize Up Medical, what would it be?
Um, right now, I think it would be my follow-up process. It's for me. I think the tripping point is I love the conversations with people, but I'm moving from one conversation to the next, and I want to be able to serve them in a quick fashion, because as you and I both know, and it doesn't make a difference what business you're in, the more the time falls away from you, the less likely they are to do anything with you, even if you have the
That's
best
right.
solution. So at this point, how do we speed that forward so that within minutes they have access, and where I can keep in constant contact with them, so that we can kind of move things through the process. They get access to the information they need. It's all about being able to make decisions. If they have a conversation with me and they like me, we know that people invest with people they like. If I can solve the issue of liking, and then AI can help me solve the issue of implementation, then this is a win-win situation.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Mark, for hopping on the show with us today. We'd love to have
I
you on the
appreciate it,
next
Now.
one. And that is Designed to Thrive. We're going to close it off with Mark's last plug. So, Mark, how can they find you online?
Yeah, if they want to go to www.riseupmedical.com, and Rize is spelled Rize, kind of like almost like an accordion, or kind of taking your healthcare and rising above. So it is, and if they ever want to kind of have some more detailed information in terms of educational materials, they can jump into the education side of our website. We post lots of blogs and articles there. They can also join us on our social media channels at Rize Up Medical. And from there, there's always an opportunity if they need to talk with us they can set up an appointment through our website as well, through our calendar link.
Awesome. We'll see you, Mark.
Well, thank you, Naka. I appreciate the time.